So Noel Plum asked, who will be as famous 10,000 years from now as they are today? He seemed to think it's going to be Shakespeare. Good candidate, but I'm not convinced of his argument. He talked about the fact that he's peerless in his field, which, sure, he might be, but 10,000 years from now, is his field going to be as relevant as it is today? Entertainment changes so much that in the course of, 1,000 years, entertainment today is not what anything like it was 1,000 years ago. And I certainly think it's going to change even more dramatically over the next 10,000 years. So I'm not convinced that Shakespeare's being peerless now is going to even matter 10,000 years from now. The next thing we talked about, like his body of work and like love and tragedy and human condition. I think everyone, at least in our time frame, from now and in the past, wrote about those kind of things. Even the Greeks are writing about those kind of things. I'm not really sure how that's an argument. The next thing talked about the fact that his work could be reinterpreted, which is a very valid argument. I mean, even today we have Romeo and Juliet just come out in the theaters. Um, but the reason that's happening, not because he's a good writer, but because he's a good writer and his works are in the public domain. I think over time, the good writers of today and Walt Disney and so forth, those works are going to get reinterpreted more often than Shakespeare. I think that Shakespeare is going to kind of fall off the radar over time as newer and newer generations come along and more works become in the public domain. So that's my response to Shakespeare. Now it comes time to come up with my candidate. And so I looked at the world as it's going to be in 10,000 years and how it sees us. The world can be completely different. The geography can be different. The moral structures are going to be different. The entertainment is going to be different. So the people that are responsible for shaping the world today are not going to be, um, as famous then as they are now. So what really matters, I think, when people 10,000 years ago think about who's famous at that time frame, it's going to be like the watershed moments. And I think 10,000 years from now, granted, maybe I'm just kind of blue sky on this, but I really think that we're going to have people off of this planet. And um, because of that, I think that when they look back, they're going to know, okay, Earth was our home and our birthplace. And we managed to make our first steps off of Earth with Neil Armstrong. When Neil Armstrong put his foot on the moon, he made a mark in human history that I don't think will ever be forgotten. And he's the one that, in essence, made that. He made that first step, and I think he will always be remembered for that first step. And I think that he will be a key part of the human story, even if we don't make it off the planet. When we look up to the moon, he's always be the first person to step on that thing. So I think he's going to be famous for the duration of for long humans live. That's my candidate. I'd like to see your response and if you can think of anything better. Thanks.